it feels amazing. I missed it so much, and it feels right being back finally. There's not much that can prepare you for wrestling. I've always been like a daredevil. It's just me going in there and doing what I love. I think the thing that was really cool to me was being the first female to win it. It's my favorite match to this day. We've had great matches, and we decided if we can be great against each other, how great would we be together? Then, next thing you know, me and Danny are on top of a ladder getting pushed through a door with thumbtacks on it. When I found out he was managing me, I was so excited. First show happened, and I shocked myself. I actually wouldn't say took me under her wing, but I kind of viewed it as that. I'm like, well, what do you think about, like, do you think it'd be a bad idea if I jumped off the balcony?
Call it how I see it, straight talk, no disguise. Southern slang dripping, got the truth in my eyes. Might like gavel, every word lay it down. Coach C in the booth, turn the game all around. Yeah, it's Coach C, he the best for business. It's Coach C, he the best for business. Yeah, I'm sharp as attack when I call the play-by-play. Every dog got his day, and I make the crowd stay. It's every week we go live on a Wednesday. Dressing so sharp, that's the reason why your friends stay. The youngest in the game to do it, best for business. Coach C is the truth and everybody gonna witness. Love entertainment, you swear it's your destiny. Link with Coach C, we can talk about your legacy. It's Coach C, he the best for business. It's Coach C, he the best for business.
All right, everybody. Hello and welcome to another edition of Best for Business. I'm pumped for this one. Shannon Levangie, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here today.
I'm really curious. These past few months since coming back from pro wrestling, how has it been for you?
It's been great. I
Yeah.
missed wrestling so much, so to be back, like I have a pretty busy schedule again, so I'm wrestling every weekend, and it feels amazing. I missed it so much, and it feels right being back finally.
Nice. When you talk about it being ripe coming back, originally when you talk pro wrestling, what were the goals originally for pro wrestling?
Originally, like I love wrestling, so I signed up, hopefully make it to WWE,
Yeah.
hopefully AEW, something. I just loved wrestling and wanted to do the most I could with it and do anything I can with it because every aspect of it I love, so wherever that takes me, I'm happy.
Yeah. You talk about love in pro wrestling. How is it that you've come across New England Pro Wrestling Academy originally?
So when I got into wrestling, someone who like immediately stood out to me was at the time Sasha Banks, now Mercedes Moné. I just remember because my brother is the one who got me into it, and he was like, "Oh, this girl Sasha, she's from Boston too." And I kind of was just like drawn to her because of that. So then, because I knew she was from Boston, I'm like, I wonder where she trained. And so I kind of like did some research, and New England Pro Wrestling Academy came up. And I mean, at the time I was looking this up, I was in like high school, so like 14, 15. So it was a few years before I actually started training, but once I did start training, I knew, okay, New England Pro Wrestling Academy is the way to go for me. So that's kind of how I found it. I did a few fantasy camps there when I was in high school. Just like one day they teach you some of the basics, like running the ropes, taking a bump, stuff like that. And then when I was in college, I decided, all right, let's do this full time now. I was supposed to, so I went to college in Syracuse, New York, my freshman year. Um, Fall was 2020, so COVID, so
Mm.
I was kind of miserable there. And then the spring, all my classes just happened to be online, so I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna stay home and do my classes rather than go and live there
Smart.
when all my classes are online.
Yeah.
So since I had a lot of like free time, I started wrestling and I loved it. So then I transferred schools to Providence College, which is much closer for me. So
Yeah.
that way I could keep wrestling and keep going to school.
Wow. So originally, first you mentioned the one day fantasy camp. Do you remember anything about the fantasy camp originally? Like who was there? Anything about it?
Yeah, I remember let's see. I think my first fantasy camp, Max Smashmaster, who's one of my trainers, I think he was the one in my ring leading it.
Okay.
Which, a few years later, he'd be one of my trainers who
Yeah.
like taught me what I know. Like at the time, like I didn't really remember this, but could I have some videos from the fantasy camp and like in the background I see like Armani Kayos, Paris Van
Now, did
Dale.
they start with you at that camp or they were already there?
They were already
Okay.
there, so they were students who were like helping out at the camp.
Yep.
But like it's funny watching it back and seeing them in the background, be like, oh, like in a few years they're gonna be my closest friends.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I remember it, but it's not until like I actually started training that like I look back and I'm like, wow, like there were like a lot of people there who I am very close with now and know now. But no, I as soon as I did the fantasy camp, I loved it. And I knew,
Yeah.
okay, I want to do this, but in high school where I was doing like soccer and track, and I was doing other sports that I didn't want to like give up quite yet. I'm
Hmm.
like, it's not really possible right now. So that's why I kind of waited until college and figured, all right, now's the time. Let's do
Yeah.
it.
Did soccer in any way prepare you for pro wrestling? I know competitiveness, but anything else in any way?
I think so. Like, yeah, soccer and wrestling are pretty different,
Yeah.
but I mean, soccer, it's still very physical. Obviously, like, gets you in very good shape. So I think just the physical aspect,
Yeah.
it really prepared me for it, but it still is just very different from wrestling.
Yeah.
So it doesn't prepare you much for exactly like all the bumps and stuff,
Yeah.
but just going in and like having that athletic background really did help me just to kind of pick up the wrestling pretty quickly. Um, and yeah, definitely it did help, but there's not much that can prepare you for wrestling. It's
Yeah.
very much a shock when you first start.
Yeah, so early on, you mentioned your way to New England Pro Wrestling Academy. You're a fan of Sasha Banks. You find out she trains at New England Pro Wrestling Academy. Or starts there. All those years later, for you to sit under her learning tree and get the experience to learn from her, what was that like for you?
Yeah, it's cool. So, because obviously she was there long before
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was training, but this was 2023. She did come by to class one day to train with us.
Hmm.
So that's the one time I've ever gotten to like train with her. And we do our like typical drills we do in class. And I was next to her in line, so I got to do all the drills with her,
Nice.
which
Was
was a
that by
very
design?
I think so. I don't know for sure, but
Yeah,
I think it might have been because it was myself, Mercedes, and then Becca. So like the two girls were like with
yeah.
Mercedes. So it was probably by design.
Nice.
But that was I just remember like being in line, just like, okay, don't stare at her. Like she's right next to
Yeah,
you. Like don't mess up the drills, don't hurt her. Like I was like very much freaking out inside, but also it was just so unreal that, okay, this girl that basically made me fall in love with wrestling and made me want to be a wrestler is now in line next to me doing these drills that I do every week at class. And I'm sure at some point in time she was doing those drills every week at class.
yeah.
So it was a very cool experience, like getting to have that one class where I get to kind of train with her and do all that stuff. So, I don't know, hopefully she'll stop by again and we can do that again.
Yeah. When you mentioned it, you talk about originally going to Syracuse for school or in Syracuse for college, then transferring to PC. So when you started pro wrestling, how was it balancing school and wrestling? Because some people do it, but some people post high school, they just stop school.
Yeah, it's like it's not easy for
Yeah.
sure. It's a lot of work. I do feel like I said, in high school, like a lot of people do sports in high school, so I feel like that does help you to be able to manage your schedule well. And I've always had pretty good time management, so that's helped me out a lot. So just in college, I would try to, when I schedule my classes, all right, stay away from night classes on Tuesdays because I have training, or stay away from night classes on Thursdays because there's wrestling open. And then, yeah, just trying to get my class schedule to work around wrestling. And then if I ever didn't have like a night off or anything like that, okay, that's my night. I gotta lock in, get all my work done
Yeah.
for the week. That way I can, go to wrestling, not have to worry about deadlines. So it's not easy, but
Mhm.
I definitely felt I did a very good job managing my time and making it work because I still was able to do a lot in wrestling during my time in college, as well as like keep my grades up and
Yeah.
do everything I need to do to get my degree. So I feel like it's kind of similar like if you have a job, like it's
True. Yeah.
basically college was just a job. Like you manage that during the day, during the week, and then at night and on weekends, that's the time for wrestling. So It has helped me manage my time very well.
Mm.
But I've been like fortunate that I've always kind of had that ability, which did help me make both of them work.
So for you, what is the experience at NEPWA during the pandemic like?
Yeah, so I started trading it was January of 2021. So like kind of mid to end pandemic. So during my first like few months of training, like before I was on shows, like that was kind of like when it was mainly like pandemic like because
Yeah.
Chaotic was doing their tapings at that time. So where I wasn't doing shows yet, I was just a student helping out with the tapings and all that. And right around the time I started like really getting on shows was when we started coming back from the pandemic, like all these companies.
Yeah.
So I only did like I think like one taping anywhere for like a pandemic taping. So I kind of like really came back at the right time as shows are coming back. Now I'm making my debut.
Yeah.
So wrestling on shows wise, I wasn't affected too much, but I do remember the first few months having to wear a mask to training and that does not help with breathing when you're
Yeah.
really winded, breathing heavy, and you have a mask over your face, making it extremely difficult to breathe. But I'm glad that I started with that. So then by the time I could take the mask off, I'm like, wow, like this is so much easier without having to wear a mask.
Smart.
I
Yeah.
couldn't imagine like wrestling now and then having to go back to wearing a mask while training.
Yeah.
I would die. But at least starting that way, it then became easier when we were able to finally take them off.
When you said starting, who was Shannon Levangie's first opponent ever?
My first opponent was the Chaotic Countdown, so it
Oh,
was a Royal Rumble. That
okay.
was like my first appearance. My first singles match, I believe, was Max Smashmaster, my
Was
trainer.
no, was that like a reloaded taping or no after that?
No, it was on a live show, like
Okay.
one of the earlier live shows back. And I got the win in my first singles
Nice.
match. He he gave me a beating, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It wasn't an easy win, but I did manage to get the win in my first match. And like I said, he gave me a beating, so I figured I knew in that moment if I can survive that match, I can survive anything in wrestling. And so far, I'm still standing.
And you've wrestled what, 2 or 3 year trainer so far?
Yes, I've wrestled Max. I've
AG, I
wrestled
assume.
AG. No, I really
Really?
want to.
Wow.
I really want to,
It's-
but it hasn't happened yet. So
yeah.
I'm really hoping someone makes that happen soon because that's a match I've been wanting for a very long time. Before he was even a trainer at NEPWA, like
Wow.
I've been wanting that match for a while. Um, Chase, I have done. Uh, kind of. I was in like all out war against him, so it
Okay.
was like 5 on 5. So like there was some interaction there, but I don't. I think I was in a match once maybe, but I haven't had like a singles or like a real like match
Yeah.
with him. And then
Brian
let's see.
Logan?
Brian Logan. No, I've teamed with him
Okay.
in All Out War another year.
Yeah.
Um, but never wrestled him. Would love to.
Yeah.
Dijak, I would love to wrestle him.
Yeah.
He'd probably throw me around, but
Scotty? No?
Scotty,
I don't
no.
think so.
Maybe like an interaction in a rumble or
Okay.
something,
Yeah.
but no, never
That's
wrestled Scotty.
crazy.
So the only one I've had a singles match with was Scott, Max Smashmaster.
Wow.
That's the only one. So I'm gonna have to change that number soon. I
I
want to
think in
wrestle him.
2026 a few of those gonna happen.
I think you know what? I think very soon there's gonna be some matches with some of those people.
Yeah.
So hopefully.
When you talk about that first match with Scott originally, what is like the inspiration? Obviously it's your name, but what is the inspiration you're going for Shannon Levangie at first?
I don't know. I've always liked my name. I've
Okay.
always thought it had like a cool sound to it. I
Yeah.
love Shannon. I think Levangie just like sounds cool. I'm like,
Yeah.
if I like it, why change it?
Yeah.
So I kind of just decided to keep the name. It has a cool little ring to it.
What about the way in the ring you present yourself?
Honestly, I feel like I know people say this all the time, but I feel like it is just me. Like
Okay.
I'm in there, I'm happy to be there, but I also want to like beat people up and like
Yeah, yeah.
show that I'm tough and I love doing all these crazy things, like jumping off high places. I've always been like a daredevil in that
Nice.
sense.
Yeah.
So me going in there is just I'm having fun. I'm going in there, having a good time, beating some people up. I'm taking a beating, but I'm getting back up. That's just I don't know, it's just me going in there and doing what I love,
Yeah.
really.
When you talk pro wrestling so far in your career, in such a short time, you've done a lot. But for you, what would you consider that first big opportunity so far?
I feel like so. My debut match was, like I said, the Chaotic Countdown. That would have been July,
Hmm.
or no, June of
Yeah,
2021.
something like that.
And then I would say in January of 2022, every year, Chaotic does a match called Pandemonium, where it's like six people, kind of elimination chamber without the chamber.
Yeah.
In a sense, like two people start, someone else enters, and then it's elimination from there. And it's like the main event of the show. And that year, it was for the Chaotic Wrestling Heavyweight Championship.
Okay.
So I was in that match and being only like a few months into doing shows and now getting put in the main event to challenge for the heavyweight championship, like that was a huge opportunity. I
Yeah.
remember finding out I was in that match and being shocked, but being so excited, so grateful, and being in the ring because that match, let's see, you had Davey N was in that match, Alec Price, Brad Cashew, JT Dunn, Ace Ramiro, like
Wow.
all great people. So to
Who won
be
that year, JT or Davey?
JT, I think.
Okay, yeah.
I think JT.
I'll put the information here, but yeah,
Yeah, so being put in that position so early on was was definitely huge for me.
nice. Was there like a moment in your career, or was just overall? When did the Troublemaker name come in for you?
So really, I used that song from my debut.
Okay.
I just liked the song Troublemaker by
Yeah.
Ollie Murs and Flo Rida, so I used that as my song. Like not really with the intention of being the troublemaker. I liked the song, so I wanted to use it. And then I think people kind of just started chanting Troublemaker, and then I'm like, okay. So I got headbands that said Troublemaker and kind of just rolled with it. So it wasn't like really that deep of a thought process, just
Wow, yeah.
like this song, and it kind of just formed into me becoming the troublemaker.
I know now you're relentless, but at Focus Pro they played Troublemaker a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, I gave them my new music. They must have just played the old one, but I'm not
Yeah.
complaining. It's a great song.
Yeah.
So I heard the beginning beat and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, let's do this. Bring back Troublemaker for the night.
Yeah.
But I feel like that song's probably retired now, unless I don't know,
Oh,
maybe it'll
okay.
come back here and there by my surprise as well.
Yeah.
But it's a great song, so I wasn't mad about it.
Yeah. When you talk chaotic wrestling in the lineage, for you, winning the New England Championship, what did that mean to you? Because when I was looking at it right before this interview, that lineage is stacked for that title.
It really is a stacked lineage, and I think the thing that was really cool to me was being the first female to win it,
Nice.
because every other title in Chaotic has a female's won it at some point. Obviously, Panoptic, you have Paris and Becca have held that. Davey held the heavyweight as well as the tag, but the
Mhm.
only title that had never been held by a female was New England. So I remember kind of like piecing that together,
Wow.
before, like long before I'd won it, and thinking like, like someone's got to change that.
Yeah.
It would be cool if it could be me. And so I worked towards that goal, and when I made it happen, it was great because yeah, that was like why I wanted to win that title was to be able to say, okay, now all the titles in Chaotic have been held by females, and like you said, it's such a prestigious lineage that
Mhm.
I want to be a part of that too.
Yeah.
So that was it meant so much to me winning the New England Championship, and it was like the moment of winning it, that whole match, it's just like it couldn't have gone any more perfect. It truly was everything I could have hoped for.
How was that match at Shay Long?
It's my favorite match to this day.
Wow. What's
Um,
so special about it, you think?
I think I just like everything about that
Yeah.
match. Obviously, New England winning the title, that was the first and so far only title I've ever won. So winning
Wow.
my first championship made it special. The crowd was just like they were into the match the entire time. There wasn't a quiet moment. Just the whole time the crowd was loud. They were here for it. The match itself, I think, was amazing. We did some crazy stuff and we went out there and we gave it our all. And like I said, just I've always wanted to be in a ladder match as well. So that was like one of my dream matches was to be in a ladder match. So to win my first title by climbing a ladder
Yeah.
and then grabbing that title was just it was very cool. Kind of like how I'd always envisioned winning a championship. So to have my first championship won like that, and then just the crowd reaction when I grabbed the title, it was probably the loudest reaction I've ever gotten. Like, even more so than when I returned to wrestling. I think that night just I don't know. The crowd at Chaotic has seen me from my very first match, my debut, so they've seen me grown over the years. So I think for them to see me finally win a championship, they were excited about it. I was excited about it. The match itself was just very high energy,
Yeah.
and just all of that combined just really made it like the perfect night for me.
Yeah. When
And
you talk
Che is
moments for chaotic
great,
wrestling,
so
I was gonna say, well, you've talked him being in this ladder match with Shay Long. You've had some great matches, but when was like the first time you became, I don't want to say the troublemaker, but was it the dive at the balcony for you?
I would say the dive off the balcony,
Was
that
that
was
your idea?
yeah.
Wow.
I remember because that was all at war in 2022.
Hmm.
I remember earlier that week, I'm at training and Chase comes up to me. He's like, "Oh, are you excited for All Out War like this week?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm so excited." Because that was like my first hardcore match I think I've ever been in. He's like, "Oh, like, got anything like fun you want to do?" And I'm like, "Well, what do you think about like, do you think it'd be a bad idea if I jumped off the balcony?" And he was like, "I think that'd be cool." And I'm like, all right, so
Yeah.
just don't tell everyone else. And yeah, music started playing, and why make an entrance through the curtain when you can jump off the balcony?
Yeah.
And there's a pile of people who happen to be all down there fighting. It seemed like the perfect opportunity. So I think that was when like the hardcore side of me really came out. And ever since then, I've just jumped off of every high platform I could find, and I love it. The adrenaline rush just gets me every time.
Now you say you told Chase this idea. How long was this an idea for?
So basically, the first time I ever stepped foot in that building, which was probably about 6 months prior,
Okay.
the first time I stepped in that building, I saw the balcony. I thought to myself, that would be cool to jump off that one day.
Yeah.
But I was just like, it has to be the right moment, it has to be the right time, the right match. And All At War was happening. There's 10 people in that match who are all wanting to like kill each other, and
Hmm.
there's really no rules. So, what better time to do it than then? So that seemed like the right time to do it, and I think it was.
Yeah. Did you always want to bring out the hardcore side of you?
I I guess like
Okay.
I didn't like start wrestling because I wanted to do hardcore
Yeah.
stuff, but like I've always thought it was really cool, so I was always down to do hardcore. Like I don't want to like do it all the time. I like saving it for special occasions. But I feel like a lot of my favorite matches are the hardcore type matches, just
Hmm.
because I don't know, you can be more creative and you get to hit people with chairs and ladders, and it's fun.
Yeah.
So I've definitely always been like intrigued by it, and whenever I get the opportunity to do it, I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And they usually end up being some of the most fun and my favorite matches, even though they are typically the most painful.
Yeah. When you look at your career and everything you've done, you've talked about that moment when beating Che Long, becoming the first ever female to hold a New England title. What happens? Is it a match or a practice where you go down?
It was a match. It was 2 weeks after I won the title.
Okay.
So
Is this your first offense?
so I had one title defense. I
Oh,
didn't get hurt at Chaotic, so it wasn't in a title defense.
okay.
I was wrestling in New Jersey, and I did a move I had done hundreds of times where it's called a money clip. I kind of just flip over my opponent, land on my feet. It's not even a move. It's just
Hmm.
like an evasion.
Yeah.
I land on my feet, felt like a sharp pain in my knee, but like it didn't give out, so I kind of just kept going. And then like 2 minutes later, my opponent had me in a fireman's carry. I fought out of it, and as soon as I landed, that's when my knee just completely buckled
Oh,
and it gave out on me. And I kind of knew in that moment, like, yeah, this isn't good. But I kind of like gaslit myself into thinking I was okay by the time I got back through the curtain.
yeah.
Got back there, I'm like, oh no, I'm fine. Like, yeah, it gave out on me, but I'll be okay. And no, it was a pretty, my knee was pretty much all blown out. So yeah, that happened 2 weeks after I won the title, but I did get one title defense in. So
Nice.
at least I have that.
Who was it against?
Tony Navarro, the Big Cheese,
Nice, nice.
which I love him. So
Yeah.
I'm happy that my one title defense was against him. It was a great match. So I can't complain. It was a short reign, but it was a good time while it lasted. I came back. I was out for a total of 15 months.
Okay.
I came back. It was about, I think, 2 months earlier than like my trajectory
Yeah.
anticipated. Um, yeah, I think it was 10 months after, 'cause I had to get two surgeries. So the doctor told me probably 12 months after my second surgery. And I came back, I think it was 10 months after my second surgery.
What's the mindset like when you're down? Obviously, you come back 2 months prior than you're supposed to, but as soon as you come back, you get the ball rolling in wrestling. But how was it during those times?
It's like, it's weird because
Yeah.
you're so used to going to training every week and wrestling multiple shows every week and just wrestling all the time. And then all of a sudden, it's just nothing.
Yeah.
No wrestling. And it was very weird to adjust to that. And like, it almost didn't feel real. And then, like, also knowing in my mind, okay, I'm not going to be wrestling again for well over a year. So it's just very weird to like kind of accept that. And then I don't know, as time goes on, you kind of learn to live with it, learn
Yeah.
to adjust, and then, you're doing PT, so you're doing all this stuff to prepare to come back to wrestling. Um, and then I think it was January was when I got the okay to like not get back in the ring, but like very gradually start working my way. So like I said, January, I ran the ropes for the first time.
Hmm.
And by run, it was basically a walk. It was
Yeah.
very slow.
Yeah.
And then I would very gradually add stuff. So would run the ropes. Okay, now let me try jumping in the ring just to get used to like the bounce of the canvas. Then it would be like, okay, let me try doing a roll. And then eventually, all right, let me try running the ropes while someone else is running the ropes. So it was months of just kind of like step by step, like very slowly coming back. And
Hmm.
then it was probably around like April or May that I was like pr like not fully wrestling, but like I think it was maybe May was when I had my first like class match and
Yeah.
like not doing a ton in it, but taking it easy. And then yeah, May was when I really started picking it up and getting my cardio back and really working on it, but it's a very weird adjustment at first, but my mind was just always on, okay, I want to come back. What can I do to come back? And I didn't want to rush it because I did not want to risk re-injuring
Yeah.
myself and having to go through that again. So coming back as soon as I can, but also like as healthy as I can.
Yeah. Is it during that time you come up with the Relentless?
Yeah, I knew I wanted to like come like I love Troublemaker, but I knew, it was
Yeah.
time for a change. It had a good run. And I figured coming back from a long injury would be a good time to kind of change it up. And I don't know, I always liked wrestlers who have like a word associated with them. Like, I don't know, you have The Miz is awesome. You
Yeah.
have Bobby Roode is glorious. I always liked that. And I'm like, okay, like what's a word that I can associate with myself? Um, and I think it was kind of a similar process as how I came up with the Troublemaker. I found this song that I liked that was called Relentless,
Mhm.
and I'm like, I'm kind of relentless. Like, I think that could work. So once again, it's like for me, I feel like it always comes back to my entrance song with like
Yeah.
how I kind of want to like show myself.
Nice. If you had to point out, is there a difference from the Shannon Levangie pre the injury to post the injury?
I think I'm very similar still, but I think also just like I'm scrappier now. Like
Okay.
I want to fight now.
Yeah.
Especially coming back. Like I've been gone for so long. Like got a lot of anger built up in me. Using that ring to let out all my anger, all my frustration. Like I'm here to fight now. I'm still here to have fun like I was used to, but I'm gonna get down much more now and really just show that scrappier side of me.
Nice. I remember when I interviewed Paris Van Dale, she talked about her first interaction with you from her perspective. Do you remember the first interaction you had with PVD?
I remember like meeting her. I think it was at class or at a taping. But my first time I remember like really getting to like know her, I think it was at like Armani Kayos's birthday party.
Nice.
Like
Yeah.
and we like at first like we were rivals for a long time.
Hmm.
I think, there's that natural competitiveness of, we train together and there's not many girls in wrestling. So
Yeah.
like we were like there weren't many girls at training, so we were like some of the only girls and there's that natural competitiveness. So for a while, we were rivals. We didn't get along, but then we realized one day like, you know what? Let's put our differences aside and let's become friends. And then the brats were born.
How did the idea come for you to be a part of the Brats? Or originally was it Beyond first that starts, right? And then Zeta comes in?
Yeah, we started it at Open. And like I said, we realized we're rivals. We've put on great matches with each
Hmm.
other. So
Is there a
imagine
match that stands out with PVD?
we've had a lot of great
Yeah.
ones. I feel like every match we have, it just gets better and better. So I think our last match we had, it's been a while now because she's out injured now. I was out injured
Yeah.
for a while. So like it's been a while, but I think our last match would have been December of 2023. And I'd say that's our best one. Like I said, I feel like every match we have just gets better and better. So
Hmm.
like there's not a bad one out there, but I would say our last one, which I say most recent, but it was a while ago now, almost 2 years,
Yeah.
um, was probably our best one. And yeah, we've had great matches and we decided if we can be great against each other, how great would we be together?
Hmm.
And then we decided to form the Brad, set open, and then Zeta is a baddie. So we were like, we want her to join us. And she joined us. And it was just a great trio we had going.
Yeah. When you talk about tag teams and Shannon Levangie, whose idea was you team with Armani Kayos?
We've always gotten along. Like we've
Nice.
always been good friends and we tagged at Labor of Love this past summer. We had a lot of fun then. And then recently for All Out War, I needed a partner
Hmm.
and I'm like, Armani, he's my good friend. We've tagged before. We know like we got good tag chemistry. So it took a little bit of convincing because he wasn't really feeling the ladders and all
Yeah.
that. But I convinced him to be my partner and yeah, I love tagging with him. We haven't done it like a ton, but the time because there actually was a phase in 2022 where we were tagging a bit. And then we
Nice.
kind of took a break for a little bit. But then we've now tagged a few times since I've come back from injury, so we'll see. Hopefully we can tag a bit more in the future. I love tagging with him. He's a really good friend of mine. He's obviously an amazing wrestler.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of fun when we're together.
You mentioned team with Armani Chaos All Out War. How was this match for you? Coming back, a huge match to come. You that insane bump with Danny Miles, and then the destroy with JT and BMT. You guys went all out for that match. How was it hard to convince you and Danny to do that? Was it
Um,
hard to convince you to do it? Because I was talking to Danny. He's down to do anything at this point.
in a way, because so going into that match, I knew a few days later I was going to be in the WWE ID Women's Title match.
Yeah.
So I was going in with the mindset, I'm like, okay, like I want to be careful, like
Hmm.
I don't want to like risk hurting myself before this really big opportunity. So like I'm usually doing crazy stuff on All Out War, but I'm probably gonna be like calm this year.
Yeah.
And then I get in there and I do things
Yeah.
and everyone else was doing all these crazy things. I'm like, well, I need to do something crazy. And then next thing you know, me and Danny are on top of a ladder getting pushed through a door with thumbtacks on it.
Yeah.
And
Gotta add that in there.
I will say that was really the only crazy thing I did the whole match. I was
Okay.
pretty calm otherwise, like for the rest of it, but I had to do one crazy thing. And of course, it was Danny. We were trying to skewer each other because I skewered him once, then he skewered me. And then we were just too focused on trying to skewer each other again that BMT then pushed us. And yeah, it didn't feel good. So
Yeah.
I think me and Danny have agreed to put our differences aside. We're gonna stop trying to skewer each other
That's nice.
because
Yeah.
now it's gotten to the point that like it's not benefiting any of us. We
Hmm.
tried it and now we're both going through a door with thumbtacks. So we're done with that now.
And what is this? Your third All Out War match?
Yeah, my third one. I was 2022, 2023, 2024 I was out injured, and
Yeah.
then I was back for 2025. So it's one of my favorite matches of the year. So
And
every year I'm like, I hope I can somehow find a way into this, and I always do.
And the thing with this past ladder match, it was unique too. I didn't realize it at first. What was it? Two competitors started at first, or was it one from each team?
So it was one from each team. So
And
there was
then they
five
came in.
teams in it,
Yeah.
and then so five people started, one from each team, and then one person from each team came in every, I don't know, 3 minutes, whatever it was.
Yeah. You talk about it this 2 days later or 3 days later, whatever it is, the WWE ID Women's Championship. You talk about hard work, and originally you wanted to be a part of the WWE, you said when pro wrestling came to be. But for you to be a part of that match, when you came out, insane reaction. How was that whole experience for you?
It was so cool. Just like being able to be in that match
Yeah,
was so cool because like when you're coming back from an injury, you don't know, okay, am I gonna like be the same as I was before? Am I still gonna have it? And like it's those thoughts are always running in the back of your mind. So getting the opportunity to be in that match like showed me, okay, people see that I still got it.
yeah,
So that alone was great. And then the fact that it was at Open, somewhere where I wrestle very regularly. So for that night, like kind of being the hometown girl
yeah.
and having the fans behind me and like getting those great reactions, it felt so good. So even when I was eliminated first, which was heartbreaking, but hearing the crowd reaction and how upset they were as well, it
Mm,
did make me feel a little good. Like, okay, yes, I lost, but at least like I know they were all rooting for me. They're upset too. But no, it was just also so cool being at Open and having all those girls there. We had 11 girls on one
yeah,
show, which it can be hard finding females for shows a lot. There's not a ton of female wrestlers out there compared to how many men there
yeah,
are. So usually, like at shows, there'll be like two girls, maybe one or two women's matches. Like it's not a lot. So being at a show with that many talented women, that also was amazing. So just being able to be a part of that experience, and then Lainey Luck winning the title. That was my first time meeting her, but I loved her. She's
yeah.
great. So I was so happy just for her and to be a part of that whole night.
Yeah. When I look at Shannon Levangie's career, you've been a fan favorite pretty much everywhere. But recently, how is the experience just getting managed by Sidney Bakabella? You talk about the brats turning the page, but Bakabella, one of the best minds in wrestling, just sitting under his learning tree and getting managed by him. What was that like?
Oh, when I found out he was managing me, I was so excited
Yeah.
because I think he's iconic
Hmm.
and I just was so excited for that. I knew we were going to have a lot of fun
Yeah.
and we did. I was trying not to laugh like because he gave me the intro that he gave Channing Thomas, but just changed it up slightly
Yeah.
for me. And we came out to Channing Thomas's music, and so I was Shannon Thomas for the night.
Nice.
And it was such a good time. And even though after the match I did turn on him and beat him up, I would still, work with him again. I would still let him manage me again because it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Now, this is something I wanted to ask you. So I've interviewed, when this drops, I think it's a few weeks prior, I interviewed Max Smashmaster, and he talked to me about the birth of Rad Pro. And he said the first idea he had for a persona was the one that you got. So I'm curious, when you first are given, I think it's Aislis, is it called?
Yes.
What is your mindset, or how do you go about it? Because he says a lot of these guys, he gives the name and the personality what he's looking for, but a lot of this is up to the wrestler.
When he first told me the concept, it was a few months before like I even knew Rap Pros exist, or
Hmm.
not that I knew it was existing, but before it happened, he had told me I had this idea for a company and this is a character I'm gonna want you to be. And he explained it to me and I was very confused. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
what is she doesn't have an eye, but she's a creepy doll like girl, and I wasn't really grasping it. And as I was coming closer, like I think I was like asking him these questions about what should she look like, what does she want, and he's kind of like, that's kind of up to you, however you like interpret it, like that's what you do.
Hmm.
And I just remember like being kind of terrified leading up to the first show because I'm like, I don't know if I can pull this off. Like I'm usually so like bubbly and happy, and now like I gotta be this creepy doll thing. Like I don't think I can do it.
Hmm.
And then the first show happened and I shocked myself. Like I just as soon as I went out there, like I just kind of like snapped into gear and I didn't know I had it in me like have that like dark side to me.
Yeah.
And I was also worried that the crowd like wasn't gonna understand my character. But right away they understood it, they loved it, and yeah, from that moment I'm like, oh yeah, he knows what he's talking about with these characters. And like he knew I had it in me and I didn't even know it yet. But after that first show, I knew like Isles was something special. And now I always look forward to Rad Pro shows because I just love being Aislis. It's so different than what I normally do.
Yeah.
And it just, I can be creative with her and she's a lot of fun to do. And the crowd, like, really just loves her. They understand her. Even though she's very weird and unique, the crowd, they still love her.
Yeah.
And she's a lot of fun to do.
So when he tells you basically it's up to you, like what's the inspiration you go for?
Kind of originally, oh, I almost went Wednesday Addams
Okay.
vibes. Maybe a little too much because people were like, "Hey, it's Wednesday Addams." Like I
Okay.
could probably tone that back a little bit, but like when I think of dolls, I think of like the two braids, so I did that. And where like she was kind of dark and creepy, I'm like, okay, maybe all black. So I got like a black top and a black skirt. And it did give off very much Wednesday Addams. And then over time that kind of adapted to like, okay, I want to change her look a little bit to look more doll-like. So then I changed my outfit to it's kind of just like it looks like a doll dress, but with like it's ripped with like a broken heart
Okay.
and like some blood stains. And we also have this girl Anna who comes in and does makeup
Nice.
for Rad Pro. She's so talented. So she really helps make eyelids come alive. Before, I would just wear like a simple little eye patch over my eye. Now like she does this whole like thing to my face where it really looks like there's a hole in my eye and
Wow.
that it's like spreading throughout my body. So I have these like vein things all over me and
Yeah.
she's really helped make like a lot of the characters at Rad Pro come to life and especially Aislis.
Yeah. When you look at everything you've done in pro wrestling, such a short time, you've wrestled some of the best, but I'm curious, who brings the best out of Shannon Levangie?
There's a lot of people. I mean, we've already talked about her, but Paris Van Dale,
Yeah,
I
she
said,
said the same about you. Yeah.
yep, we're great together, but when we're wrestling each other, like it's never a bad match. We
Hmm.
bring the most out of each other and we we go into a fight. We are fighting in there
Yeah.
and we do bring the best out of each other. I also think Becca, I talked about how my match with Che Long was my favorite match. Number two is I had a street fight with Becca at Wrestling Open.
Nice.
That's up there as one of my favorite matches, and we've had other matches, just straight up singles that are some of my favorites as well. And Becca also, like, she was someone who, right from the beginning when I started, like, really helped me out. And, like, I don't, like, I feel like she wouldn't say took me under her wing, but I kind of viewed it as that. Like, she
Nice.
helped me out so much after
Yeah.
class, would work on stuff with me. She would invite me to shows with her to, like, kind of, like, show my face and get my name out there. So I love wrestling her. And then let me give one more. Maybe I haven't wrestled him in a while, but Aaron Rourke.
Yeah.
I love wrestling him. I was so bummed because I was supposed to wrestle him at Fight Life, right before I got injured. Obviously, I got injured. I think that was like the first match I had to pull off of after getting
Mhm.
hurt. And I was so bummed because I wanted to wrestle him so bad because it had been a few years at that point. But when I returned in the Chaotic Countdown, I returned at number one. He returned at number two. So the first person I got to share the ring with when I returned was Aaron Rourke. And there was honestly like no one I'd rather share the ring with for my first few minutes back because he's one of my like closest friends. He's just such an amazing person, such an amazing wrestler, and he always brings the best out of me. So I knew if I wanted to like make a statement, like when I came back, having those like it was only 90 seconds of like singles action
Yeah.
between us, but I knew like that would get the energy going and it would show the fans right off the bat, like, yeah, I can still go. I still got it, and I think he really helped me make that happen.
How was the first chaotic countdown back? Because I could be wrong, but don't you go pretty much till the end?
Yeah, I was in there for I think it was 62 minutes or
Yeah.
something like that. I was in there for a while.
Yeah.
I came to the final, I think it was final six, and
Nice.
then the Mecca ruined it for me and eliminated me. But no, it was cool because I feel like you see the surprise number 30 all the time. Not all the time, but like that's kind of like
Yeah.
what people expect now. Number 30 is going to be a big surprise. And then it was actually Chase's idea when I like we knew I was getting ready to come back. He was the one that was like, "What do you think about surprise number one?" And I'm like, "I like that."
Nice.
And I knew at that point, like I said, I'd been very gradually working my way back. So I had been ready,
Mhm.
like, to go for probably about like a month at that point. But I knew I wanted to wait for the countdown to return just because it's a big show and I knew it would be a great return. I didn't want to just return on like a regular show. I wanted it to be something big. So I knew at that point, I'm like, all right, I'm ready. My cardio feels pretty good. So if I enter number one, I think I could go all the way.
Nice.
And I went almost all the way.
Yeah.
But I think 62 minutes for my first match in 15 months, pretty impressive.
Yeah. You talk about it. Since coming back, you've hit the ball running. You've done insane things so far. I've had great matches. What's the new year hold for you?
The new year, I want to just keep that momentum going. I
Nice.
want to have a lot of debuts, which I already do have a few lined up.
Nice.
I feel like since coming back, I've had a few debuts, but it has been a lot of wrestling at companies that like I've been wrestling for before I got injured.
Yeah.
Chaotic, Rad Pro, Open, Fight Life, like all these places that I have been wrestling at for a while and I love wrestling at. But I do want to expand out more. So I'm hoping 2026 I can, get some more debuts in, maybe get some more states, maybe travel like other side of the country.
Yeah.
Um, but no, I feel like I have some really good momentum right now, and I just want to keep that going. I want to wrestle as much as I can. I want to hopefully, I've been wrestling a lot of new opponents who I haven't wrestled before. I want to keep that going because I always love new faces and yeah, just keep doing what I'm doing, but more.
Nice. Well, I can't wait to see what the new year holds. But Shannon, I can't thank you enough for doing this. However, every interview I've done has ended the same. The day you decide it's all done in wrestling, which obviously isn't happening anytime soon, but the day you decide it's all done, what do you want Shannon Levangie's legacy in pro wrestling to be?
I feel like See, I just love it so much that anything positive, I'll be happy with. If people can look back and think, wow, we loved one thing that Shannon did,
Yeah.
I'll be happy with that. If they love the fact that I jump off of crazy places, that's great. If they love me because I kind of give off that like girl next door vibes, that's great. If it's a wrestler who loved me just because they thought I was a good person, that's great too. As long
Yeah.
as people look back and have like something positive to say about me, that's all I could ask for. And I want to like do as much as I can in wrestling, but at the end of the day, like that's what matters most is people like looking back fondly on me and what
Yeah.
I did in wrestling.
Nice. Shannon, thank you so much for doing this. Thank you so much for everything. Literally, since I was in high school looking at colleges, I appreciate it. So thank you for everything.
Of course, thank you.
Thank you for doing this, and thank everybody for watching this episode. This was Best for Business.
Thank you for watching this episode of Best for Business. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, because this is Best for Business.